and how they're streamlining the game. Most fans are like, okay, we usually don't like to hear streamlined when a developer is talking about remaking a beloved RPG, but if you've played 7, you know that this actually could be a good thing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Game Informer. You're watching a Dragon Quest VII Reimagined new gameplay today episode. Myself and Wesley, we both went to Tokyo, Japan to visit Square Enix, and we went hands-on for about 2 hours, Wes, is that right?
Yeah, about 2 hours.
With Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Eric here, one of our resident RPG experts in the building. Eric, how are you?
I'm awake this morning. I'm really interested to see this because I've played a lot of RPGs in my life, but I've never played Dragon Quest VII. So this could be my first time playing this game, would be this reimagined. Ooh. So I'm really interested to hear like how they have kind of taken the original and changed it and also kept it the same in many different ways.
Wes, I'm going to toss it to you. You wrote the cover story. I think you are the person who I kind of go to for this game. And kind of what you're feeling about it. So do you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So Eric, you work in the game space. Do you have time for a quick 150-hour RPG these days? Is that easy for you?
Look, I try to play into your thing. I would say, no, I just don't have the time. Has this ever happened to you? But frequently I do find the time because I do love a good long hour RPG, but the prospect of one that could be a little bit more expeditious is always appealing.
Yes. So Dragon Quest VII has been around since 2000 or 2001 on PS1. And that game is like 100 hours minimum for like the main story. It's a lot of RPG, which back then when you're like especially the age that a lot of kids played this, like 100-hour RPG was the best because
that'd last you the whole year.
Exactly. Yeah, you're set. Your parents are only buying you 2 games a year. Why not pick one that's 100 hours? But they remade it on 3DS, which, we're getting a little older. We don't have as much time. They kind of streamlined it a bit, cut out some of the like fat, I guess you could say, from that 3DS remake in 2016.
And that remake was I think received well by many.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of people really like it.
Yeah, it's funny. Dragon Quest VII is not even as I'm like writing features about Reimagined and how they're streamlining the game, most fans are like, okay, we usually don't like to hear streamlined when a developer is talking about remaking a beloved RPG, but if you've played 7, you know that this actually could be a good thing because that game has a lot of meandering, which some people say is like part of it because it's an island hopping adventure, sure, but like, I don't know. It meanders a lot. It takes hours and hours to get to the first fight. It takes like 40 hours to unlock jobs, which frankly in an RPG is kind of unacceptable. Neither here or there. Streamlined is going to take that massive experience and Reimagined will take the massive experience and streamline it greatly. They haven't really said how much, but I'm guessing like it's going to cut back the playtime by like half. Like I would expect this to probably be a 40 to 60 hour RPG, which sounds great to me. And something we learned a lot with talking to Square Enix. We spoke to the producer, the director, the main scenario writer, and even Yuji Horii, the creator of Dragon Quest himself, about this project. And they're basically kind of just taking away the parts that don't work in 2025. And that's not necessarily like I'm not trying to say it's like a censorship or anything like that. There's nothing in 7 that doesn't work in 2025 in that regard. I just mean like the game used to be very linear and now it's more about embracing the island hopping and sailing around the world. And
which we're about to take a look at here. The King's gonna give us kind of we kind of get put in the middle of a quest actually.
We're about halfway through the game with this quest. Which is very Bolgio centered, which I'll get to. But because you have more choice in this remake to go where you want to go and tackle the arcs of Dragon Quest VII, because it's kind of like an anime where it's arc based. It kind of ruins some of the side stories that are happening because they used to be so dependent on the linearity in the game. And that's kind of where they streamlined it. I have a whole feature up on GameInformer.com that you can read about where I am much better with my words and writing. But basically, I think they're doing some smart things in terms of making this a more approachable and increasing the ease of access for this RPG. So let's get into what we're like looking at here. As Alex mentioned, this is a quest with Bolgio, who is this kind of Italian noble. He has a special stone, and he wants us to go to this dungeon called the Tallest Tower, and we'll see why in a bit. But basically what we're looking at here is the combat, which is another part of the streamlining of Reimagined. If you've played Dragon Quest 1 or Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake or Dragon Quest 3 HD Remake, you've seen some of the changes that are going to be present here. That includes the battle speed increasing from normal to fast to ultra fast. There are tactics, which is kind of like telling your teammates how to perform, similar to other RPGs like in Persona and stuff like that. Where if you don't want to control their every attack, the game will do it for you. And so that's part of what is kind of streamlining combat. And then, of course, there is just like a complete rework of combat in general and how it works. And so you have a lot of skills at your disposal now, and that's because of a new thing in this game, completely new for this game, called Moonlighting, which allows you to take your vocations, your jobs, they're called vocations in Dragon Quest VII, and instead of just having one, you can have two at any time, which for me as an avid RPG player is really nice, because now you're leveling up two jobs at once and you're gaining access to the skills of those two jobs at once, and you can equip them all at once, which greatly speeds up the grinding process. It greatly speeds up being able to access all of the jobs, because ultimately, I don't know, at least for me, maybe you guys are different, but I like to try to see every job and see how they work with different party members and how my group synergy works. And I think it's a really smart move to it's a smart and it's part of the streamlining process to take those vocations and let you grind and level up two at the same time. And that's a big facet of Dragon Quest VII in general, is that everybody has access to like 20 jobs. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of mix and match.
And later on, we'll kind of I've got some footage of us kind of swapping vocations on characters. So like this is very much like this is from what I understand, you know, we were kind of given like a preset, like we've configured these characters already for you, like Wes said. We're halfway through the game. And so we're kind of like playing with that setup that they gave us. And later on in the footage, you'll see me kind of like switch things around, try out different abilities and vocations to see what kind of like synergies I can get going. I particularly love Ruff in this game. He's very much like a lot of people love Ruff. I think seeing him rendered in 3D, he's just really, really awesome. And I really like his abilities of like later on you can kind of get like Call of the Wild, I think the ability is. We'll show it off a little later, where like he can, you know, summon a wolf pack and send them after people, in addition to kind of like he's quick, he's in your face, he's very much like an aggressive play style. Whereas the protagonist, the hero, is, I would say, a little more balanced in this sort of configuration. And it's really cool because Aishi, you can like turn her into like a dancer, that sort of thing. So I've really enjoyed swapping between those vocations. It felt fun and rewarding to kind of try those out. You know what I mean?
I was going to say that the models in this game are already looking absolutely incredible. Like I was a little curious about how the doll aesthetic would look in motion, because seeing it in screenshots is one thing, but like it moving, you know, how does it look when it's actually on the screen? And I'm like really, really impressed by especially the battle animations and stuff are looking really cool. I love the designs of them in the fights. Did it feel like, obviously we're watching this on footage later, but how did it feel to like see it in person on the screen?
It's pretty awesome to me as a fan of Akira Toriyama, who has been was the lead character and monster designer of Dragon Quest series. Like often his art is represented on the box art, and then you play the game, and because of hardware limitations, it's 8-bit or 16-bit. It wasn't until like the modern age of gaming where we kind of saw Toriyama's art realized. In game, I feel like this is at least specific to Dragon Quest VII's box art and what they were aiming for originally. This is like the closest we've gotten to Toriyama's art. It's I don't know. It's really awesome to see and play in person. And we saw the dolls. Like Alex.
Yeah, we're gonna have a video showing off the dolls up close. And if you watch that video and then watch cutscenes in this play out, I mean the textures are almost 1-to-1. The specifically like the cloth threads on the clothing of the characters, kind of like the glassiness of their eyes. It all transfers over nearly 1-to-1. I was really impressed with that facet.
Yeah. And they started with those dolls. Like that's like kind of the genesis of this project is the art and somehow transforming Toriyama's original vision into 3D for this remake. And I think the dolls really nailed it. But then from the dolls, they created these monsters, which to me have like a toy-like look almost, which fits well with dolls. You're playing with dolls, you're fighting toys. It's kind of like, mishmashing your action figures as a kid growing up. And then the world design to complement it is like almost diorama-esque. Coincidentally, like pure coincidence, it does give me like Clair Obscure Expedition 33 vibes because of like the blur happening on the world map. And they even mentioned like maybe it's serendipitous that this map kind of looks like that because obviously people really like Expedition 33, but ultimately like all of this combines to give the game this like feeling of warmth and coziness that I think Dragon Quest specifically has always been known for. Dragon Quest VII especially. It's a coming of age story with like this group of kids who are going off on an adventure around the islands surrounding their home and fighting evil. Like Dragon Quest isn't unlike other RPGs, it's not often trying to do anything super big or grand. It's often just good versus evil. And I think leaning into that coziness and that warmth of RPGs really does this game a lot of favors, and I'm very impressed with the visuals so far.
Yeah, I at one point in time during our demo, you have like a monster compendium as you come across monsters in the world, and you can rotate their character models in the compendium, and I was just really admiring, the styles of all the characters. I really like how they rendered specifically the dragons in this, like the drag racer.
Yeah.
The file that we were on had obviously played a lot longer than Wes and I had, so I got to go through and see some other characters. I didn't include it in this because I think it would spoil people, but it was really cool to see how all of these like classic characters and for many of these recurring characters kind of in this specific art style. But yeah, we are in the tallest tower, in case people are wondering where we're at now. We've made it to the tallest tower, which is sort of like where we set out. I'm going to show off some of the like equipment and some of those vocations we were talking about changing up.
Yeah. So as you can see, the pretty standard RPG menu, and we're going to get into it more here in this tallest tower, but it's very simple to swap your vocations and see your experience as you're leveling up, because it's not just like a level. It's, as you can see here, it's this star system, which I really like. It's an easy, quick glance way to see what these vocations can do for you. And as you can see, there are a lot. We're halfway through the game at this point in this dungeon, and like still so many to unlock. There's 20 vocations per character, and then each character has a location or a vocation they start with, so making it 21, and that's like unique to them. So Hero, for example, is Sailor, and nobody else is going to be Sailor. That's like his unique vocation. And something that's cool with these vocations and why you would want to pursue leveling them up is because of this new thing called Worked Up. It's basically after you've taken enough damage or dealt enough damage or done something like some kind of parameter in combat, you basically unlock this ultimate like ability. And sometimes they hit hard for damage, other times they are like a buff for the entire team, and there's a lot of synergy that can be born from it. I'm looking at the cover story now, and the Sailor vocation gives Hero Gritty Ditty, which is a funny name. Significantly increases all allies' attack power and agility. Obviously, that is pretty standard. And then from the Thief vocation, Repeat Offender, which allows another action to be performed every time a status ailment is inflicted on an enemy. So once you've got that going, okay, maybe Aisha has a vocation on that allows her to inflict poison with her attacks, or she has a move that burns enemies or something like that. And now you can already, it's easy to see like, oh, when she burns somebody, now she gets to go again because of Hero's vocation. And it kind of all stacks up into this very like synergistic move set that you can create with your parties. And it's something I really like. It's a really cool way, and this was present in the original, but the fact that you have 2 vocations now just kind of maximizes what you're doing, and I think it's a lot of fun to change up the combat like this in a game we've played twice already.
I was going to say, for people who have played Dragon Quest XI, maybe it sounds a little bit like the pepped up system, but like elaborated on and built upon. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is so like reimagined is an interesting word because it's for me, I get a lot of reimagined in the sense that like it's taking a lot that they've been doing recently. Dragon Quest has kind of been on this renaissance since 11 because 11 hit new heights for the series, I'd say, at least worldwide. And it's picking parts from Dragon Quest XI that people like the pep up system or the pep system and First Strike, I believe is what it's called in Dragon Quest XI.
It's been a minute, but that sounds rightish.
Yeah. Now it's called Sudden Strike, which is you can hit an enemy outside of the turn-based system, and if you're over leveled like beyond them, it'll just insta kill them. Similar to other RPGs
nice.
Like Persona and stuff.
A lot of games been doing that. Yeah.
Yes, it's really nice. It kind of cuts down it makes grinding easier. And if you're not strong enough to take them out in one hit, then it'll damage them and kind of start the turn-based combat that you see. And that's a cool system. Like I mentioned, the HD remakes are using like the battle speed up and the tactics and stuff. That's all present here. This is kind of like the amalgamation of everything that Dragon Quest team has been doing to make their RPGs a little more accessible for general audiences, or like ease of access. And I think it's going to be like the ultimatum of all that. And I'm excited to see how it all works in the final game. And I think this will I'm guessing this is the last Dragon Quest before Dragon Quest 12. We asked Square Enix about Dragon Quest 12, and obviously they're nothing to share, and we knew that going in. But like this was a game that is kind of like leading into that, I feel. Yeah. What we're seeing here is the goat, Sir Mervyn, or farming in the sky.
My favorite character.
Yes, this was the purpose of this dungeon, was to unlock him. I won't say too much more about what exactly just transpired because that's, some story stuff, but we now have Sir Mervyn in our party, and he is he's pretty awesome. Something fun Alex and I learned on our trip is that in the English version, which presumably most of us watching this will be playing, he speaks like an old medieval knight. But in the Japanese version, he actually speaks like a feudal samurai because of colloquialism and localization. It makes more sense for him to, like his speech will be reminiscent to the Japanese population of feudal samurai. The same way when we think of like older generations, knights, we hear medieval in our head. It's just something cool we learned. I had never thought about that. And I had no idea that localization did stuff like that. Very cool. But yeah, you could see here that he's, saying medieval terms, and
we did see what was under his cap. We when we had the dolls, we took his hat off. He has hair. He's got a full head of hair.
Yeah. He's old.
I don't think it's in the game. But they made it regardless. So. Yeah.
He's just so cool. Look, I just love these character designs. They're so good. And maybe it's because I'm a Toriyama mark, but like, I don't know, something special about it.
No, they look really cool because I feel like this has been a new frontier for remakes. Especially you look at like the Link's Awakening remake that was made a while ago that also went for like a toy box kind of aesthetic, and I do think it does rekindle a lot of that nostalgia, a lot of that feeling of, oh, this is something I used to play when I was younger, and now it's like wholly reimagined the way that I saw it in my mind's eye. But I think here it looks like I think the Toriyama aspect of it really does come through because of the designs, that it doesn't just look like dolls. They look like dolls that have that very specific design style that works really, really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny. So, I see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we've added him to the party, and we're going to actually show off a little bit of his moveset. in the last fight before we get out of here. But what were you gonna say, Wes?
Real quick though, on the topic of parties, there is the sixth party member, which I'll have a feature up on Game Informer maybe when you watch this, maybe not, breaking down all the party members. Prince Kiefer is the other guy, childhood friend of Hero and stuff. I'm not too sure his status, where we are in the game right now.
Yeah, he isn't mentioned. He wasn't mentioned in our section.
So maybe, fans of the game will remember better than me what he's doing right now or what's going on with him. But he's the sixth party member, and so this is the other five. I was just gonna say with Toriyama and the art, we spoke to everybody about Toriyama, obviously, with his passing last year and him having such an important part of the Dragon Quest vibe. It's really cool to see. I when I play Dragon Quest games, I think of Dragon Ball Z, which is funny because Dragon Quest they're kind of back and forth in history. So for me, it's like I'm playing this otherworldly Dragon Ball Z game, and I think especially seeing them in this format really adds to that. Like Hero and Ruff especially might as well be like they could be stand-ins for Goku if he was on a weird fantasy adventure or something like that, and I love it. So we're going to do some combat here with Sir Mervyn.
We'll take out this macho and crew. And Sir Mervyn, he is... he's also, when you get him, at least in this version, he's a few levels higher than the rest of the team. So he's kind of like the big dog. Yeah.
Narratively, I think it makes sense too. The way that he comes in and he's kind of ready to fight, and he's like this big reward for getting through the tallest tower, which we kind of sped through, but it's like 9 or 13 floors. Yeah, it's a lot of floors, and you can see all the enemies on each floor, and you can choose to fight them if you want, or you can just run past them. Obviously, this is a classic RPG. You need to be not skipping enemies often, but
getting your experience. I do like the auto combat system. It works really well. And you can pause it. You can pause it halfway through, so you can, if you want to do the auto battle, the whole thing, it'll just play out. And you kind of see, it's actually kind of cool because you can the computer will sometimes show you some strategies you hadn't thought of. And then you can kind of bring that into your play style. But even if you start it automatic or you start kind of manual, for lack of a better term, you can switch to the other at any point in battle, which is cool.
It was funny. We asked director Masato Yagi and producer Takeshi Ichikawa, with these features, which are cool for players, does it hurt them a little bit that you're giving players the option to speed through battle at ultra fast speeds or completely put it on autoplay and stuff like that? And just because I had not had the chance to ask a developer a question like that, letting players kind of quickly speed through something you worked hard on, and their answers were different, but ultimately they were just kind of we hope that everyone plays, if you're fighting the White Watchman for the first time, maybe you do it on normal, and then after that, do what you got to do. I was like, look, I got a 7-month-old at home. I'm going to be auto battling my way to victory. And the director was like, between you and I, Wesley, yes, that's also how I play. So don't feel bad using these new abilities to make combat faster. It's what they want. That's why this game is what it is.
I do think the appeal of Dragon Quest has always been, I think it was maybe Tim Rogers in one of his video essays about Dragon Quest said that it's very much the sort of thing that you play on the weekend or you play it before you go to sleep at night. It's very much almost kind of a bedside table book sort of situation. And so it being cozy, it being not necessarily the hardest thing you've ever played, having that ability, having that breadth and that depth for sure, but then also being something that you can just pick up and play. I mean, it is made for all ages. It's made for anybody to approach and kind of have this adventure. So I think having those options is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And especially playing to the main. And they have extra challenges and side content for players. When you beat the game, or I don't know if you beat the game, they called it end game, so I'm assuming. There's extra hard bosses to fight and challenge arenas and stuff like that. So there's plenty of this game is not, it can be easy, but it doesn't have to be easy. It's kind of just how you want to play. And there's difficulty options and stuff like that. But I think you kind of nailed it. That is what Dragon Quest is about for a lot of the fan base, I think.
Yeah. Well, we are wrapping up this video here. I do want to say, Wes, Eric, thank you for joining me. If you're out there watching this, we've got a lot more videos coming. As I mentioned, Wes and I, we didn't go hands-on, but we stood right next to the dolls. We got up close, saw all the textures. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, then go and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because that video will be coming soon, alongside a ton of interviews with the development team, including Yuji Horii. And a lot of them also, we're gonna have a video. They kind of spoke about their relationship with Toriyama, and what that was like. So if you're interested in all that, of course, stay tuned to the YouTube channel here, youtube.com/GameInformer, or head over to GameInformer.com. Wes is going to be putting up a ton of exclusive write-ups about the game, featuring his impressions, interviews, all that sort of thing. And if you're interested in Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, it's out in early February, I think the 5th. It's coming to Switch 2, Switch, PS5, Xbox.
And PC.
And PC, yes. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.